Hi there, in this video I'm going to be having a go at doing some cropping and collage on this painting here that I did sitting outside. I was working out the back of the car. You may have seen that in a previous video. If you haven't seen that one where I was actually doing the painting outdoors, you can view it at this link that's just popping up here. Yeah, so I was just sitting outside. It was quite a lovely, bright, kind of gusty autumn day, and just wanted to get some of that energy into the painting. I wasn't trying to make a picture of what was there. I was just trying to get a sense of the movement and energy that was out in the landscape. And being outside, working outside, it's the best way to do that. Just being there on the spot, because when you're working outside, you just get that feeling of the movement and everything kind of changing around you. And it makes you paint in a different way to if you're working indoors. So if you've never tried painting outside, even if it's just going out with a piece of charcoal or some just a simple brush and ink or something like that, if you've never tried working outside, I do recommend it, because it changes the way that you make marks on your paper or whatever surface you're working on. It's not necessarily that you're thinking differently, it's just that sometimes just being there, just the atmosphere, it just makes you behave in a slightly different way, and you always get more energy and movement into your drawings and paintings when you're actually there on the spot. But as you know, what I like to do is get all that stuff out of the way, do the work outside, do the drawing, painting, the mark making, getting all that stuff into the painting first, and then bringing it back to the studio so I can have a play around, actually make something out of it. Because yeah, it looks okay as it is. It's got some nice bits in it, but I feel like it's a little unfocused. So what I like to do is tear things up, crop them down, do a bit of collage, and actually try and think a little bit more about what I want in the painting, what I don't want in the painting, and give it a bit of direction. And I do that in my sketchbook, as you know. So I've got my sketchbook here. It's got a load of paintings in it already, paintings, drawings that I've done in this way, working outside, then bringing them back, tearing them up, cropping and collaging. So let's have a look. That was one I did when I was away on holiday. This was from a workshop that I did recently as well. And let's see, just find a clean piece of paper. That's quite interesting. It's got some quite nice marks in it. It's a bit lighter, quite fresh. I've actually forgotten that I'd done that one, so it's quite nice to see that. Looks like I've got some oil pastel there, and I've worked over it a bit with some acrylic paint, so it's scraped back through a little bit as well. So there's quite a lot of layering going on in that one. And again, another one that I did while I was on the workshop. There's a leaf stuck onto this one. Not sure about that, but it's a bit of fun. And oh, last page. Get to finish my sketchbook. That's exciting. It's always nice to finish a sketchbook. I love having these books in the studio. They're a real resource when I'm working on my studio paintings, and having a whole sketchbook full up of these visual ideas. People often ask me how I go from having these works in my sketchbook on paper, the crops and collages, to completed studio work on boards and canvas. And that's what my next online workshop is all about. It's about taking these ideas and pushing them forward, trying to keep as much creativity as possible in the studio work in the same way that you would in your sketchbook. Now, sketchbooks are very creative and quite a forgiving place, and the workshop is all about how to retain that creativity and bring it into the work that you do on board and canvas in the studio. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, about how to retain that creativity, spontaneity and energy in your studio work in the same way that you would in your sketchbook, then please do check out the link that's here on the screen. Okay, let's get on. Okay, I was just adding a few extra marks in there. Just felt like this line that was here, where I've collaged this piece into this sky area, just felt like it needed continuing round. It felt a bit truncated, so I just sort of carried it around with a similar piece of soft pastel. Just added a couple of extra little marks down here. I always feel like I tried to be quite careful when adding pieces in after I've done the collage work. It's very easy to overwork them at that point and start fiddling around too much, kind of faffing about with paint, and you kind of end up repainting the whole thing, and you lose all the kind of spontaneity and energy that you had from the original painting outside. I think this has retained that. I always think of these as a kind of editing process. Everything that's here, apart from those few little marks I made at the end, but everything that's here was done on the spot. And I've just rearranged it slightly. And so it's a little bit like if you're making a film, if you're making a movie, you just film loads and loads of footage and you edit it down to the bits that tell the story. And that's how I think about these. I do all the painting outside and then I make them a bit more concise and focused. So that was that. I hope you enjoyed watching it. As I was saying at the beginning, if you want to find out more about how to take these kinds of works through into your studio paintings on boards or canvas or whatever you like to work on, retaining the energy, spontaneity, movement, all that excitement that you had when you're outside and when you're working in your sketchbook, then please do check out the link that's here on the screen for my next online workshop. Okay, I'll see you soon.